politics.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Glenn Mills. It is time to go inside Utah politics. We do begin this morning with Jason Perry, the director of the Hinckley Institute of Politics, here to explain what to watch for as we head into a big presidential campaign cycle. Jason, great to have you on the show. It starts earlier and earlier every year. I mean, I realize we have a municipal election this year as well, but a lot of eyes already focused on next year. So let's get right into the top spot. Senator Mitt Romney will be up his term. So a lot of people wondering, is he in?
Yeah.
Is he out? What are the factors we're looking for in this?
Well, it's so interesting. That is the big question right now, and that answer is going to shape Utah politics through the next election and far beyond. There is a very interesting track of candidates that are going to jump in if he doesn't run, and a whole different group of people who are probably going to jump in if he decides to stay in. The one thing that's clear on this decision, and conversations with Senator Romney and others close to him, is he's going to make the decision himself. No one else is going to make it for him. That is what's so interesting about this, and it is his call to make. It has been 75 years since we had sort of a one-term senator who decided not to run again, retire. He gets to make this decision, and he's going to be a pretty tough candidate if he stays in.
He publicly has stated if he feels like there's something more for him to accomplish, he'll stay in. Is there more to it than that?
Well, I think that's kind of it as well. I think he's looking for what he could do if he stays in. I think he's also looking at who might step in after him, who might be able to carry on sort of that legacy or the approach that he has taken as senator. I think he's looking at all of that right now, and I think it really is his calculation because he still has a very ready microphone in Washington, D.C. If he wants to say something, he doesn't have to look far for someone to put a microphone in front of him to say it, and I think he's thinking about that as well. So can he still have influence?
So you take a look at his last primary election. He won with 75% of the vote, really big. But we have seen things change over the last 5 years as far as how Republicans in the state of Utah view him. So is that going to be a factor as he decides whether or not to run again?
I'm going to break this down into two categories. So there's the Utahns in general. So you look at how he does with Utahns exceptionally well. If he gets to a general election, Utahns are going to love him. His issue is going to be in that primary, like it always is. So he's looking at that right now, looking to say, where are Utahns? And he has a very good base, right, sort of center-right in the state of Utah. Few people on the left. The far right, pretty much with Senator Mike Lee and other people who are much more conservative. So right now, as he's deciding if he's going to run or not, he's looking at that particular segment of his base. Will they show up for him? Will they go for someone else?
We know, both you and I, from our sources, that he was watching closely the Mike Lee versus Evan McMullin race, where McMullin ran as an independent. Did that give any path forward for Romney potentially running as an independent?
I see no chance of him running as an independent. That was an interesting experiment for the Democrats to put together someone who is not a Democrat in Evan McMullin. He did do better than Democrats have done in a race against Senator Mike Lee, but if he was looking at that race saying, do I see an opportunity for me to run as an independent, I don't think that signal was given.
Yeah, because Senator Lee still ended up winning by about 10 percentage points.
Yes.
Talk about the contenders. You already brought this up. If Senator Romney is in the race, who is a potential challenger?
Well, you start seeing candidates like Sean Reyes, for example, people who have run before, maybe like Greg Hughes, people who have been very involved in politics, but might decide to jump in regardless of the decision of Senator Mitt Romney. So I think that group is one that, you know, their names we recognize pretty well. The other side is the one that is so interesting to me, because there are a lot of people, elected officials we know well, who are going to give that deference to Senator Romney, and they're going to wait for that decision, which I think will not be that far from now. I think it will be the spring when we hear, but this will be people like Brad Wilson, the Speaker of the House. I think he's going to give some deference to Senator Romney. I think he's going to be considering this. John Curtis, Congressman John Curtis, he's going to be interested in this race as well. And some of these other notable people that we've seen in elections historically may come back again. But these are credible names, pretty good name ID. They're going to wait for that decision.
So they would be in if Senator Romney is out?
That's correct.
Okay. So that obviously has a huge impact on the representative side as well. What are you going looking for as that begins to play out?
So this domino impact is so interesting, and that's why this program here for you is so important right now. We're looking at a ways out, but the dominoes are lining up right now. People are starting to get their campaigns together. If they're going to run for Senate, for example, this is a $5 million race. You're going to have to start raising money. You start getting your supporters. So when it comes to the House, let's just say this, is if Senator Romney does not run, we got a couple of members of Congress, including John Curtis, maybe even Congressman Blake Moore, who might be thinking about it, even Congressman Stewart. All of them are in the House right now thinking, how rare is it that there might be an opening in the Senate? And they're all right now sort of looking at their funds, they're looking at their supporters and wondering what might happen. This would change a lot.
We saw in 2022 that all 4 congressional districts are safe red in the state. What do Democrats need to do to even try to be competitive in those races?
So historically, those have been pretty conservative districts. They're even more now after redistricting. For the Democrats looking at this, it's hard to say there's a name out there as someone who could credibly right now take on one of those members of our delegation. They are that strong. I think the Democrats will put forward some good candidates. They have in the past. Maybe we see Kel Weston come back, for one of these particular races, a very credible candidate on the Democratic side. It's really hard to say right now that the Democrats are looking at this saying, our window is finally here. It's going to be hard for them. They will put together a pretty good candidate or two, I believe, but those races reliably red still.
We know Governor Cox is going to run for a second term, and he said from the very beginning he would run from two terms, and that would be it. Any potential primary challenges for the governor?
The one we might see is probably Carson Jorgensen. He's chairing the Utah Republican Party. He's been running that. He's stepping down, and it's become very clear in the circles he's running in that he might want to take on Governor Cox. It's interesting because Governor Cox has already announced that he is running. This has been his tradition. He's running. He announces to be the first one to have his name out.
He's raised a lot of money, too.
He has. He's in a pretty good position right now, getting ready to head into that race. I think, giving back to his farming roots, he plants seeds early so the crops come up at the right time. I think that's sort of his strategy. I think that just like in that last race, though, we will see other people come forward to challenge him inter-party. There will be some big names, I think.
Okay, obviously a different dynamic when he's running now as the incumbent versus as an open seat last time.
It is so true. There is so much power in incumbency. It was hard before when we had this plurality issue for him in the primary. Lots of Republicans running. We'll see if he can clear the decks because of his popularity, but that's a big one for him. But he's even stronger now.
And back then, he won convention and the primary. Since the implementation of SB 54, he's the first statewide office with an open seat to win both of those. Yeah. Has that potential dynamic changed as we go into the next year?
Not really. He's still in solid position with those delegates and also with Utah Republicans generally. Governor Cox, I think, announced early because it's his style, but also because he's riding pretty high on his popularity. I think he's in pretty strong shape going forward.
Okay. Let's move into the presidential realm. You've done some polling on this. How are Utahns looking at this? What is their appetite when it comes to the presidential race on the GOP side? We know former President Trump and Nikki Haley have officially jumped in, and we know other big names are going to be jumping in.
So Utahns right now are really just getting a peek at what the possibilities might be. We've done some polling on the potential candidates. I'll tell you who's not done very well is former President Donald Trump. He's third or fourth in most of our polling over the past couple of months. It's interesting, Ron DeSantis in Utah was just over 24% of Utahns said if he decides to jump in the race, which he hasn't yet, if he does, they may be willing to consider him. He's a viable alternative. But then we'll see some other big names, as you mentioned, people like former Vice President Mike Pence might jump in. Nikki Haley's going to put a very good campaign together. We're going to see some of those names we've been looking at for a little while come forward, but Utahns, at least right now, look at someone like Governor DeSantis as someone sort of a little bit like President Trump on the policies, but a little less like Trump in the other ways that were more concerning.
Yeah. All right. I wish we could finish this take this conversation further, but unfortunately we have run out of time. So much to talk about. Really appreciate your insight. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Glenn.
You bet. Still to come, Utah officially has a new state flag.